Hey, what's up? Kato's first. Good to see you, man. Oh, I'm sorry. Tomar's first. Telex, where is your coin? Oh, which one? I've got some Scotch Test Dummy coins. I've got the Scotch 4 Dummy coins. I need to order something from Aquavite. And I think I've heard a couple other ones getting some coins. I do need to do a coin. It's a lot of work to get that done, but it's something on my radar that I probably should pull the trigger on and take a look at some point. I have figured out the cost makes sense, so um, don't make a ton of money at doing it, but it is a good way to get the name out and get the logo out and have some fun with it. And that's something I should do. Yeah, Trinity and C has a coin too. I forgot about those guys. Hey, Swami, good to see you. Hey, Mom, good to see you too. Go Cats! Yeah, it's Kentucky versus all y'all. I hope you're ready for some March Madness here. I'm already ready for March Madness because I know Kentucky's going to have to take on the world, but it's all right. It's like that every year. Excited. Thanks for the shirt, Mom. I appreciate it. And I'll be rocking the next one and the next show. So yep, we're gonna do Balvenie. This is interesting too to me. Now, my first Balvenie was the 12 double wood, which is your run of the mill. You find it pretty much at most bars, even offer it. Supposedly pretty easy drinking, and a lot of people like it. Coming from Isla, Campbelltown, Islands taste, that's my preference. When I first had the double wood 12, I just didn't really get into it. It was a little watery as far as like I mean, it had some flavor, but it was the mouth coat was really light. I guess some people like it for its delicateness and flavor, but it just didn't do it for me. And I always thought, well, I should give Balvenie another chance because surely you can't just judge a distillery off one experience, especially if it's an entry level. Same thing happened with the Glenmorangie 10. Once I had the Lasanta and other things, I was like, okay, I'm with these guys. Broaden your horizons. You don't doesn't mean you have to spend a boatload of money, but you might just have to do some research to see what cask, what type of flavor appeals to you the most. Anyway, over time I've tried the Caribbean 14. I really like that one a lot. The Sherry 15 I like even more so. One of the peated 14, I believe it was. That was actually pretty good, and I'm pretty picky when it comes to peated whiskey outside of the Isla, Campbelltown Islands region. It's got to be right. And actually, I think did a pretty good job. Another distillery I think does a good job with peated outside of the normal sphere would be Ben Reich, which you probably have had before. The Septimdicim. That's a really good 17-year peated. I remember having and being really into it. And Glendronach has some nice peated ones, or basic peated whiskey I thought was pretty good. But anyway, over time, after trying 4 or 5 expressions, I had a friend that was traveling, and he doesn't mind looking and see if he can find something that I might enjoy. And he ran across this baby, which is a Travel Retail exclusive triple cask 12. And when he showed me a picture of it, I'm thinking, well, if it's Travel Retail exclusive, if it's 12 years, even though that's not really a high number, the triple casking is it's a 1 liter bottle. It's probably going to be close to $100, you would think. And no, it runs about 60, which is the exact same price that the double wood 12 runs. And I'm thinking, okay, well, what should my expectations be with this? I'll give it a try. It's not that big of a huge deal if it's not the best thing ever. It's not that I won't drink the double wood. It's just not something I would seek out, but it's not a waste. So went ahead and pulled the trigger and had him get it. And as you can tell, already been having a little fun with it over this past week, and it's a really surprisingly well done comparatively. I like this a lot better than the double wood 12. Comparison wise, The Doublewood 12 does traditional American oak barrels, hogsheads, Spanish oak, ex Oloroso sherry. Nice kind of spectrum, but there's something missing to me with it flavor wise. And what you get with this guy is you do have, unfortunately, I say unfortunately because it's refill cask, traditional refill cask, which means it's not first or second, it's your third, fourth, and even, farther than that. But you do get first fill American oak barrels, and you get first fill Oloroso sherry butts. So you're getting two first fills, which makes a huge difference with the impact of flavor, I think, when you do these whiskeys. And I think that's why I like this a lot more than your other stuff, the Doublewood 12. And a funny thing is, I've seen mixed reviews on it. I thankfully can get the sherry notes right off the bat. I find it easy to get. I like sherry a lot, though. That might be a difference. This is Oloroso. It's not Pedro Jimenez or PX, but it's definitely there. And I can, and you can tell it's not going to be overly sweet, which is nice too. You get the woodiness, the oakiness off the bat too, which is cool, along with your typical vanillas and toffee. But you also get a really nice, like a floral honeysuckle, some like light sawdust, hay. I mean, it's not overly complex. I mean, we're only talking 12, but I think the triple casks does give it a little bit of a spectrum without losing itself like the Doublewood does because it is first fill. That's just my take on it. Let me get to some comments here. Wow, Loch Ness, good to see you. Moj Chun, I think I'm pronouncing that. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I appreciate your support, by the way, Mos, on Twitter. It's always good to see you enjoying the feeds. Chad, good to see you. Oh, it's no big deal being late. I try to catch some other ones too, and Steven. And Dave, good to see you. You used to be able to buy ELT for, oh, wow, yeah. The Elmer T stuff. And, yeah, bourbon is just insane in Kentucky. Don't even get me started. Really, 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 really well done nose. That's definitely, gosh, just the nose alone is a 3.5 to 4, somewhere around there. And also has a really nice flavor that you don't get from the Doublewood 12 as far as the intensity, the richness of it. You get more of the, toffee, butterscotch, vanilla. You get a little more of the oak. Not bitter, though, not off-putting. It's not overly sweet. You get a little corn, but it doesn't taste like a bourbon either. It still has some really nice maltiness. I do get a little bit of sherry. It's very subtle, but it's enough to make it an interesting dram, I think. The only thing, I'm not going to say it's a fault, but the finish is nice and medium to long, but it's more of like just a nice oily coat of buttery goodness. It doesn't have a lot of other flavor with it. Maybe with age. I know they have a triple cask 16 and even I think a higher one than that. It might be even a 20 to 25. Let me take a quick look just to see. 16, 25. They have a peated triple 14, which is very particular. It does review quite well. It would be nice to try that one. I don't think I've had. I think the one I had was a peated either 14 or 17. I can't remember it being a triple. It could have. It might be. Let me see if I don't remember doing a review of that one though. No, that's not one I've had. But triple cask 12, the one we're doing here, there's a 16 and 25. I can only imagine what the 16 would be like. The 25 is probably astronomically priced. Balvenie is, they're not as what I would consider as high as some like Macallan or others. They're probably along the line of like Lindronic, maybe not out of the question, but a little on the higher end from what I would say. Hey, bud, thanks for stopping by. I know how that goes with the Vicodin. Hey, Dram, good to see you. Have you decided to open up and try the Balvenie Triple Cast 12 sample you got with me, hopefully? Let me know if you're getting similar notes that I was talking about. I'm not sure if you missed the intro or not, but I think it's pretty well done. Finish is a little lacking, but nose is definitely solid. Palate is solid. Nice mouth coat. Really nice buttery flavor. Movie time popcorn kind of thing. Got that oakiness in there without being bitter. I think it's pretty solid. Overall, I don't think I would add water. This is only 40% ABV. It does not taste 40%, like a 40% ABV. This tastes like more like a 46. It's got a little, I think the flavor is so intense with it, it makes it feel like a stronger whiskey than 40. But yeah, I hear you, Dram. I think it's just okay, not bad, not great. Yeah, I mean, it's better. I think it's a hell of a lot better than the Doublewood 12. Do you think it's just a little better than the Doublewood 12, not as good as the Doublewood 12, or worse than the Doublewood 12? I think it's a lot better for the price because it's $60 versus $60. This is harder to find because it's travel retail exclusive. But if this was easier to get on the market, I would much rather buy this than the Doublewood 12 any day of the week. I would like to see a better age. Let me see if I'm just out of curiosity because Cato was saying 40 always a short finish, which he's not wrong on that. Typically, it's what you get, but looks like their 16 is only 40%. That's kind of depressing, as is the 25 years. So they don't play with the ABV at all on their older offerings of the same juice. So that kind of scares me. You prefer the Doublewood, actually? Wow, I'm surprised. It's been a while since I had the Doublewood, and I had it in a bar, and all I can remember was it to me. I was looking at it versus like a Macallan 12, and to me, it didn't have the intensity, the sweetness, or the roundness of a Macallan 12. So I kind of looked at it like a little subpar. With this, I seem to get more flavor out of this, and I'm sure it's got to be from the first fill, the American oak barrels in the Oloroso sherry butts. So I'm thinking, I'm surprised that maybe you like a more subtle, a subtle dram when it comes to certain types. He says, but to be fair, I've had the Doublewood a lot and only a sample of this. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Mom wants to know everyone's Santa Scotch request for some this Christmas, and Brad's first response is Glendronach 21. That's not a bad ask, I'd say. That's a pretty solid one. Different casking than Macallan, yeah. Yeah, I can't remember if it was the straight up. I think it might have been the straight up single. So I see what you're saying there. It's not even not the same type. I don't think they had the double cask where I was. So I don't know. I think I like the sweetness factor a bit more, and I think I get that a little bit out of this in the Macallan versus the double. But I probably like a little more of a sweet dram than some people do. Ooh, the Macallan edition 4. I need to try that one. I'm with Duncan on the Laphroaig 25, 27, 32, somewhere around there. Any of those sounds great. Mm. Oh my. Yeah, the finish is just really the aftertaste is it's got some nice oil coat and sweetness, but other than that, there's not really a lot of complexity to it. But 40%, 12 years. I do like the triple cast with the first fill, though. I will say that. Oh man, overall, I think it's a little bit better than average. For the price point, $60, for a liter too. That's another thing, Dram, I would take into account is that you're also getting, a 750 milliliter bottle versus a liter difference out of the price. But I guess if you don't like it as much, it doesn't really matter how much you're getting. But value-wise, I take that into a factor a bit too. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. And the double wood, I only gave like a 2. I just the double wood 12 just didn't do it for me. I think I gave that one a yeah. I think I pretty much gave it a flat 2. It just was kind of flat for me, but it's subjective and it's just what you're in for, what you like. But this I think is worth a 3.5. I think is fair. The fact that they don't increase the ABV though with the older ages makes me kind of hesitant of trying them, especially if the price is a lot different, which I'm sure it is, especially for that 25. But not a bad. Hate to use the term daily sipper, but it definitely has that feel. I'd much rather drink this than a lot of $30, $40 scotches that are the 750 milliliter version. I know it's a little bit more, but I think it might be worth the amount and the price difference. So that's pretty solid. I've had a horrible week. Well, I won't say week, a horrible day at work. So I thought I was going to go ahead and do not just 2, but maybe 3 tonight. I am going to look at a couple from Laphroaig I've been wanting to do for quite a long time. And I think tonight is a good time as any to go ahead and try. Laphroaig is, of course, one of my favorites, as you can tell. And I don't have these bottles. This episode is courtesy of Mr. Lee. Thank you so much for sharing some salsa with me. And the first one I think we should do is the Laphroaig Brodir. It's a port finished travel retail exclusive, 48%, and typically reviews pretty well. But I have heard mixed accounts on the, and this is a second release. The original release I've heard is a little better. That would be nice to find. It's not easy to find, but to compare with it, I do have what he sent was also the Laphroaig 2013 Cairdeas Portwood, 51.3%. Now this guy is supposedly one of the best Cairdeas out there. I've never been let down really much by Cairdeas. I think the 2017 didn't do it for me as much as this year's 2018, the 16 Madeira, the 14 Amontillado. But I'm really excited to try that guy and see how that goes. So, a little bit of water, and we'll start with the Brodir and see how that goes, just for a comparison of the differences between the two. The first one, the Brodir, is going to be 48% and ex-bourbon and ex-ruby port. Now, this let's see, this one is finished in ruby port, seasoned cast before being bottled at 48. It's not supposedly available in the U.S. at all. This is something you'd have to order or get, travel retail exclusive at a duty-free airport type thing. Not really a lot of information other than that. I do know this is a second release type of deal. It's really difficult to do a port well in peat. I have yet to see someone do it very successfully. The Glendronach peated portwood did not do it for me. Way too long to open up, 45 minutes plus. The Kilchoman portwood mature didn't do it for me. Really lacked depth and finish and didn't deliver. Not very well rounded. So hopefully one of these, or both, or you never know. You might get one that just doesn't do it. I might not just be a peat port kind of guy. I do like the Springbank 19. That one did it well. That one I've had. It's 19 years old and not cheap. That one was up there, but that was the only ported sort of somewhat peated whiskey that I think was well done. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, that's interesting. Very, very nice smoke, peat and port right off the top. It gave me like a barbecue kind of a American barbecue, deep spicy though. This one's got spicy notes on it. Like trying to think of who does the spicy barbecues. That's Texas, I believe, because Kansas City's more and Cincinnati's more sweet. I don't think the Carolinians like a lot of spice. I could be wrong. I think the Texans like the spice. So that's what that reminds me of. Really nice, deep, dark ruby fruits. Definitely heavy on the smoke, which is not a bad thing too. I don't get a lot of peat though, and that's surprising from a Laphroaig. You would think you would get that bite that you get. It's there, but it's really in the background. The smoke's heavy though, and I think that some of these other ones I didn't like as much were limited on the peat and the smoke, and without the two to give it some oomph, I think that might have brought it down a little bit. But that's pretty much the nose. Really nice. Getting a little sweeter with more, air hitting it. Wow. Okay. That's a nice taste. I really like the spice on this guy. I'm trying to remember if any of the other port offerings I've had from that are peated port that they had the spice kick. This has got like white pepper. Really nice finish too. Wow. And not drying like some of these other guys have, which I'm not sure if the ruby is what makes the difference on the port dryness, but really nice black currants. That's the main with the spice. Spice is probably the first thing you'll notice. Black currants. It's got like blackberries, blueberries. It's kind of jammy. Really, pretty well done. I'm not a big blackberry or blueberry fan though, which is really strange. But I think the sweetness of it makes it where I'm not like, no, I don't like it. I do like it still, even though I get all those kind of fruits that I'm not normally a big fan of. The sweetness, I think, helps with it. Very smoky, very, very good. Peat's there, but not really so much on the taste. I'll take that back. It's on the front end. The peat hits you first, then the wave of spice, the wave of the fruit, and then the smoke comes in the back. That's not bad at all. That's pretty good. Wow. If the portwood is better than this, that's going to be it's going to be hard to beat this one, really. This is much better than the Kilchoman port cast matured, and as well as the Glendronach peated portwood by far. Not even in the same, not even the same ring, not even the same weight class. Not even close. Huge difference. It's just I guess it's the spice and just the overall intensity of the smoke, which really helps it, that the other ones didn't have, maybe. Did you ever go back to the Port Kilchoman? I had that through a sample. I did enjoy. I reviewed it. I went back to it and finished the sample, but it wasn't like it was bad. It just wasn't near as good as this is in a separate class. I think I gave the port cast for the Kilchoman. I think I gave it a 3 or 3.5 at the highest. This is an easy 4.25. I'm thinking easy. Very well done finish too, and that's hard to do on a ported peat. Not just the intensity and the balance of the peat, smoke, fruit, spice. It's got really well done blackberry, blueberry jam finish that's still hanging with me with that smoke. If that's your thing, and even though I'm not a big fan of those fruits, I'm still digging it, which is really strange to me. I guess it's the blend of everything together I do enjoy, and that's the difference maker. Wow. Still got the bonfire going in all in the mouth. That's solid, man. I wish I had a whole big bottle of Brodir. Oh, I'll have to savor the rest of that sample, that's for sure. Thanks a lot, Lee, for letting me partake, especially with this next one, because I've heard this is like the one to aspire to be. So I'm excited to get my hands on all of that one next. Night, Mom. Good to see you. Glad you stopped by. This is like a unicorn bottle to me. This is a bottle that if I could get, and I didn't have to pay more than $200 or $300, we'll say, which I know is probably not possible. But that Cairdeas, that 2013 Portwood, man, 51.3 is a bit of a boost in ABV, and that might be another reason why it is looked at as being an even better whiskey than the Brodir. That 48 is nothing to sneeze at, though. I didn't have to touch it with water. I didn't have to mess with it at all. It was good straight out of the gate. Perfect. This, it might be a little much, and I might have to put a dropper or so on it, but to me, that's not a bad thing per se. It gives me options to get maybe even more flavor out of it, which would increase the score, in my opinion. Let's do that with the Brodir, just to see if there's any difference. I have a bad feeling it's probably just going to take my smoke and spice down, and I might not think much of it, as as some that do well with a little bit, a couple of drops, but I don't have a whole lot left here, it looks like. So we're gonna have to get out our dropper and literally drop a mini drop into this to make sure that we don't over dilute it. Don't want any problems with that. No, that wasn't anything. Let's try a little bit more. There we go. One more little drop. There we go. That was literally like 2 drops of water, so it shouldn't be that bad. But I just want to give it a chance because I'm going to have to do probably a similar thing with this Portwood to see if it changes anything. Sure enough, it just kind of deadened the nose. Still a little there, but the smoke and the spiciness that you can get off the neat nose is not there. Still get some residual, smoke and the bonfire from the glass, but not as pleasant. Yeah, just not near as enjoyable. The fruits maybe come in a little more if you're more into the fruit than the peat smoke. It might help if you, which with 48 you have a couple of drops that you can play with and not overdo it. Could bring the fruit out, but I like the smoke and the peat and the whole picture together. So I don't think it's really worth messing with that way. Let's see if we have any. Pour a little water Neil glass here. And go in for the Cairdeas port. Most says I can't dream of drims like that when Springbank 10 goes for 110 in my state. Oh my lord, man! See, it's 75 here, and I've heard that that's even really high. I had a friend, Everwind, told me that a place in DC had it for like I want to say like 60. So that's like half price for you. That's pretty crazy. Good to see you, Richie. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you're taking off, I'm not sure if you were saying goodbye to mom or if you were actually taking off. Anyway, let's take a look at this and see better, worse, equal. The colors were very similar. I don't see a darkness comparison to another one. I don't think they add anything. It's for a port. It's not the darkest thing in the world. I have seen darker port whiskeys, but they're probably colored if I had to take a guess. Oh wow, this is different. Not even the same. Which when I heard that these were both ported, port wood, one being finished, one being longer in and with a higher IBV, I thought they're still going to be really similar, but they're not similar on the nose at all. Not even close. Wow, this one really holds up its viscosity really well. Some legs, but very, very slow runs, which is a really good sign. No, no spice to speak of. Not as spicy. This has more floral properties going on with it. The peat's there. It might not be in your face, but it's there. Huh. Not what I expected. I expected the Brodir experience. That's when I tried to kill home, and I was hoping it was like the Brodir one, which is what I got in the Glendronach peated portwood. I was hoping that it was like that, and that Brodir is still that's the one I delivered. This one's not bad. It's just so different. This one's got, I think, a little more delicate's the bad word to use. Delicateness, a little more, maybe more refinement, maybe a little more age. More complexity, maybe. Since the smoke's not in your face as much, and the spice, you get more of the fruits and more floral properties. It's kind of all over the place, really, with the fruit. It's not just the dark, deep ones. This one you can get more of the mid-range strawberry, raspberry, along with your blueberries and blackberries. As well as some floral things. I'm trying to dig the floral particulars out. It's not lavender. I don't think it's jasmine. Maybe a lilac. Do I enjoy it in one nose more than another? That's a tough one because I like both for different reasons. I like the peat on this one better, but I like the smoke on the Brodir one better. And I love both the peat and the smoke. So That's what makes it tough. It's funny because it's getting a little smokier as I dive in, which is not bad either. I've had both of these sitting out for a while, so I get equal, opportunity to both and to have them sit out for a bit. I do get the bonfire goodness I got from the Brodir. It's just a little. I gotta dig a little deeper to get it. Is that a bad thing? Not really, as I am able to enjoy maybe a couple more extra notes on this that I couldn't do it with the Brodir. A little more in your face with that one than this one. Surprisingly, because this one's a much higher ABV, 51.3 versus 48. You think I could smell the alcohol, but it's a really nice, well-rounded nose. All right. Wow. Oh, my. Hello. Hello. Hi there. Wow. Jesus. Oh, my. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. I see why this is why it's the way it is. The palate is like patow compared to the 48. Not in a bad way. I didn't cringe or anything. It didn't like burn going down, none of that mess. The peat is more intense. The smoke is there. It's just, I think, better balanced maybe than the Brodir. Oh, mine. Damn, barbecue out the yin yang on the finish. So it's really funny. You get all the fruits that you get from the Brodir, but this one's got some like ham and some meat with it. It's got a little bacon. It's almost like having like the best Thanksgiving dinner with instead of turkey, you have like the fruit. You have the spinach, like really nicely cooked spinach. You've got some savory notes in there. Oh my, like a steak almost. It's completely different. I like the smoke on the Brodir. It's not that I don't like it, and if I'm in the mood for a smokier whiskey, I'm gonna go for the Brodir. But to get an all-around better, well-rounded experience, that I can see why this one is regarded as being one of the best whiskeys of all whiskeys. I'm talking like Holland Park 18, 25. I'm talking like the Hibiki series, like 21 kind of stuff. This is like in that caliber. That's how much better it is. It's funny because we went from the Kilchoman to the Glendronach to the Brodir was a big jump, but this is even a bigger jump than that. And nose is getting more intense with every time I go at it too, and so it's only getting better with oxidation, which is really in kind of different for a Laphroaig smoked peaty whiskey. It's the opposite you would think, but huh. Wow. I'm surprised at how much better that this is. Let me see what I missed here. Joshua said he can get something for 60 to 65. I think he's talking about the Springbank. Yeah. Wow. I mean, the finish on this is insane. The compote. It's like a compote. I don't know if you know food, but a blueberry, raspberry, blackberry, super intense compote. And I've got similar notes on the Springbank 19, except that Springbank 19 had a lot more herbal things going on with it. Not to take away from it, I just don't enjoy that as much as because I like the smoke of this and the floral properties that go along with this better, I think, than even the 19-year-old's Springbank one. I think this is going to be my favorite ported whiskey that I've ever had. It's just a shame, a damn shame, that Laphroaig only does these one-off, one-year releases. Um, Finding a Laphroaig 2013 bottle is extremely difficult. I've only seen them available in auctions. I got lucky with that yellow 2014 bottle, um, as is the one in Maine. I got the red one. I've had the 2015, which is a green bottle. That's a really good offering. The quarter cask one didn't do it for me that much. I expected it to be a cask strength version of their quarter cask, which is not quite what it is, even though it sounds like it would be, but it's a different taste. And the new Fino Sherry, you can't go wrong with that either. But this is in the class all by itself. This is the best Cairdeas I've ever had, I have to say. And the Amontillado is pretty damn good, as is the Madeira. Fino's nothing to sneeze at, but I think my favorite up there is probably the Amontillado. But this guy is the intensity, even though it's not as high. Like every year they would increase the ABV by a tenth of a percent. So you got the 51.3 because it's 2013, 51.4, 51.5 for the green bottle, 51.6 for the red one, and you can see the pattern as it goes. So, but the ABV and the flavor and the way it's done is just solid. Wow. I'm gonna have to really try to dig deep to fault this one. I rarely ever give 5 stars for whiskey. I think I might have only done it once, and that might have been for the Highland Park 25. I'm trying to think of another one. Ardbeg 23. We'll get to that one later. That'll be probably a 5-star whiskey. Laphroaig 18. I think if I didn't give it a 5, I'd get it a 4.75. It's hard to find any fault in some of these really well done older ones, but even though this is a non-age statement, man, this tastes like a very nicely old aged, It's kind of tough to ding it on anything, because I mean, even if I did play the age card on this, would it really benefit from any longer period of time in the and I probably didn't even go into the yeah, this is more of instead of the ex ruby port ex bourbon, this is ex bourbon and port barrels, so we're talking actually barrels with this. It's 8-year first fill used bourbon barrels, and then finishes in half butts and or half pipe port barrels, 54 gallons for a further 16 months. So we're talking like that. I think is the big difference maker. 8-year and first fill bourbon is great alone, and then you throw the half butts or the half pipe port barrels in there too. So, John Campbell, you know what you're doing, my friend. Please keep it up. Please bring this back. If you can resurrect somehow the Cairdeas Portwood from 2013, my gotta have it. gotta find a way. Gotta find a way, my friend. This is a whiskey that everyone should be able to try at least once in their lifetime, I think. And Mr. Lee, I have to give it to you. Give you props. This is just badass glorious, I have to say. I'm definitely going to savor every drop in this sample. Got to find a bottle for myself one day. I might just have to wait till whiskey prices go down, hopefully at some point, so they're actually affordable aftermarket. Really nicely done. Not spicy like the Brodir, like I said. More floral. Still has the fruit. Has more peat, I think, intensity. Definitely higher ABV, I think, helps. That's a 5-star whiskey, my friends. That's one of those that, I just can't find a fault. I mean, it's hard enough to do a well done ported peat whiskey. It's they put it on another level, and they did it. I mean, the Brodir is great enough. They the Brodir is like hitting it out of the park, and the Cairdeas Portwood is like hitting it to the next stadium across the street in that park across the whole way. So different. Wow. This is one that sip it slow, enjoy every nuance in it. You'll and you can if you dig deep, you can find some subtle spice in there. Not as near as much as the Brodir. You can find some subtle intensity, like chocolates and other notes, and it comes to you as you keep digging. This is one that it'll take hours to really get everything that they're handing to you. It's not masked by anything, which helps, I think, the ability to dig in to get all these things, which makes it a better offering overall. So, extremely well done, I have to say. It's just insane. They broke the .1 pattern with the 2017 Cairdeas. Okay, yeah, I had a feeling that they probably did that because they couldn't keep it up forever. You would think it just wouldn't make sense. So the 2013 Cairdeas is kind of like a unicorn. Yeah, it's one of my personal unicorns. I'm so lucky enough to just to taste the damn thing. I would give my left testicle for a bottle of this. I hate to say it, but it's pretty damn good. I have never had the Longrow 18. I haven't ever had a Longrow yet. I did try Hazelburn. It was a Barolo Cask 9-year. Didn't really do it for me. It's okay. I prefer the Springbank series more. I think I will like the Longrow because I know it's even heavier peated, and I need to take a stand and just do the red or 18 or something, in their line. That's on my to-do list, definitely. Going back on some older comments here, it looks like Red Sox won. I'm glad they won comparatively to like the Astros. Longrow is peated, so you'll like. Yeah, I have a feeling that it'll be up my alley. That it's going to be. It's just really scary to do peated ones that I'm not used to. Like when I tried like the Anyok, what was it? The Flounder. Not my thing. Timotol Peaty Tang. Holy no, no way. Not even close to being right. The retail on the 2013 was probably they don't really change a lot with their initial retail is about $100. You can sometimes you get lucky and find it like 80, 90 to 100. After it's been out for about a year, the tail end they'll probably try to sell it for like 110, 120 at the top, But it's the aftermarket that kills you. Right now, I think it's going for $400, $500. So that's the problem with the aftermarket on some of these guys that are older. You could probably still find a 2016 pretty easily, the mid-era cask. The 2014 is getting tougher. I was lucky to find it. Not easy to find, I think, as much anymore. It goes for like 300 aftermarket. And if you're going back to the 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012 Cairdeas, that's in the same ballpark, I think, as this Portwood 2013. It's hard to get in there without going to $400 or $500. So it's really crazy. I got really lucky that he got a good auction price on it and was willing to share a little of the salsa, because I tell you, I thought I would never have the option to do it. This guy has the best Cairdeas collection I've ever seen. Mr. Lee has every Cairdeas offering unopened from 2008 to today. I think he was lucky enough to get a couple extra bottles so he can actually enjoy it. I brought the 2014 with me, so he was able to get it that way. And I think he already had some of the other ones, but I'm not sure if he'll ever get a chance to open the 8, 9, 10, 11 unless he opens his own bottles. But hopefully someone else will also get their hands on some of those so we can at least try it out, see what it's like. I can only imagine. I've heard mixed things about the really early stuff. Um, I've heard the 2013 is probably the best of every one of them, but I don't know if that's true or not because I haven't, been able to do it firsthand. So going all the way back, yeah, $80 back in. Wow, you're lucky you've been able to have it, man. That's just crazy how good that is comparatively. I'm going back to some older comments here, see if I missed anything in particular. Both the Balvenie Triple Cast 16 and 14 peated are sold at the Brodir in a CL size. Interesting. 70, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that was really hey, evening to you, Whiskey Wings. Thanks for joining us. I was really surprised by that Balvenie. I really was. It was much better than I expected. And once you had not a great experience with one as I did with the Double Wood 12, I thought maybe this isn't the distillery for me. But after really liking the Caribbean 14 and the Sherry the 15 and the peated stuff, even I thought, well, hell, Balvenie is actually not bad. They're pretty damn good. And McKellen was kind of similar. Some of their 12s and some of their just lower end stuff didn't really do it for me. But I have had a couple, in addition to the Red Cast Black, those are like exceptional 4.5 to 5, star whiskeys, easy. But they're not cheap either. That's where they kind of get you. It's the oh, thanks so much, Lockness, for stopping by. Hope to see you again pretty soon, man. I'm going to be doing some more 8-minute reviews. I was trying a 5-minute thing, but I can't do anything for 5 minutes, so it's got to be 8 minutes. I guess it's not a bad thing when it comes to certain other things, but I'm going to do some more of those 8 minutes. I got to just take the time to do it. Picked up another bottle of the Big Red Bunnahabhain up there. That one. Got my own bottle of the TRE Negrena, which is one that Mr. Lee sent me a salsa sample of, and wow, it was probably my favorite Bunnahabhain next to the 18, which is solid as hell. And on a statement, but it tasted very well done, aged. It had really good hazelnut, red wine finish, complex. Not too over, done, not too sweet, not too savory, really well, in the middle. And that's what that new red one up there is. I already did a review on that, but I need to do probably 8-minute just to get the word out because I don't think it's readily available anymore. I got one of I think the last bottles you could actually get. So hopefully it's still available for a couple of you big Bunnahabhain fans, and I'll just dive into it 8 minutes and try to get that done. Ryan says, glad to hear your review. Sorry, I only heard the Cairdeas. Oh, yeah, no problem. It's always, go back after the fact. I post these videos and they stay up there. So if you don't catch the whole show, or if you can't make it late and you have to go to bed early or whatever, come back the next day. Please give me a thumbs up on the video if you don't mind. Subscribe if you haven't, if you don't mind. Click the bell to get the notice that I'm about to do a live. I do live reviews of the 8 minutes. I don't do the chat thing during them because it's just a distracting thing. But I do them live. I don't edit videos. It's just a lot of time to take to do that. I just try to turn it on, go through the motions, and post it up and hope that you guys get just a solid review out of it. No special dialogue like we're doing tonight back and forth, which I still love, by the way. I'm really glad you guys always stick by and let me know what you're drinking, and it's all about the community. I learn things from you guys every day, what to try, what to be kind of wary of, and hopefully I return the favor by doing these on the side. Oh man, it's just unbelievable how well Laphroaig does the port deal. I'm trying to think of any other thing besides Brodir and the Cairdeas 2013. Have they done any other ported offerings? If you guys know, let me know in the via the chat or the comments later on if you're not part of the chat. I'm really curious because the only Ardbeg one I've had, which was a port, I think, well, it was Fino Sherry was the Ardbog. That's not quite the same. That's a little different. It was the Manzanilla cask. Uh, some similarities, but not really. I don't know if Ardbeg's really done a port cask at all that I can think of. That's the closest thing I've ever had to equal the complexity, character, quality of the Portwood Cairdeas 2013 is the Ardbog. Very nicely done if you ever get a chance to get it. Not near as expensive aftermarket as this one. Effective. It is Fino. It's dry, acidic, and salty. If you don't mind that and the mood for it, it's worth a shot. Definitely, I would say. It's a shame that Kilhoman didn't do it for me because I'm a huge Kilhoman fan. That's the only offering that just didn't get me very excited. Everything else that you see up here is great. All five bottles, but that port one was kind of like, but that's the only ones I think so far. I'm just taking a look around to see if there's any other port. That's one thing that's interesting. I was just thinking of Talisker has a couple NASs like Niche Point, 57 degrees north, but they don't really do any specific cask types like some of these other guys do, like Bunnahabhain, Laphroaig, Kilhoman. It'd be interesting to see what they could do with that. I think because Talisker is one of my favorites. Kilkerran does a good job. I don't think they've done Kilkerran and Glengall Distiller. I don't think they've done any port, which is kind of interesting. That's something I think they should try to tackle. They've got a really solid 12-year Kilkerran. It'd be interesting to see if they took that 12, put it in a port barrel or whatever they got to work with, and see what they can do with it. The only scary thing about that, it's more delicate whiskey. It doesn't have the power that a Laphroaig does or an Ardbeg, so it's without the intense peat. But the islands are they can surprise you. I mean, the Distiller's Edition is really good, so it's possible they could do it and do it well. But I think that's all the ones that I could think of that are even similar to that. The Port Re. I have had the Talisker Port Re. That was one that let me see if I remember correctly. I liked the initial taste of it. The problem, though, was the finish. And I think it was because of the age. Talisker. Let me pull up my notes real fast and see. That's a good point. That is the port cask. 45.8 American oak and European oak refill casks. Refill, finished in ruby port casks. I think the refill I don't know. Let me see if my notes are easily available here. I think they are. If I go through this real fast, give me 1 second. Close. Maybe they're not as easily. There we go. Yeah, on that one, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Red grapes, a heavy oak on the subtle nose, distant peat and smoke, along with some chocolate. The smoke lingers with oranges. My friend was dead on saying the finish was like missing in action. I always use a song to remind me of a dram and the experience, and I used an old Cinderella song, an old hair band song called "Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone." And I thought the immaturity may be the issue with the finish, but the nose and palate are nice. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was average. Someone else said nailed it. Even the worst Taliskers are still good, but this and the Sky are my least favorite. So that tells you something on that deal. But yeah, I forgot about that one. Unfortunately, it wasn't as well done as I would hope, but it was young. Yeah, I think that's the tough thing. Hey, Dram, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. And you're right, Duncan. That is a port finish. It's just a shame. I guess it's really hard to do when you get the finish right. I don't know if it's a 45.8. It's not a crazy low ABV, but maybe the ABV and like some age has to be there in order for it to be well done. And some of these distilleries just don't have the what's the word for it, supply to do a proper one. That could be it. That's a tough call, but I wouldn't turn a glass down, that's for sure. I do remember enjoying the nose and the palate. Just the finish is really tough to get these port island / Isla / Campbelltown offerings right. 45.8 is a Talisker thing. Yeah, I guess that's to do with their nautical, their longitude, latitude type thing. That makes sense because I remember the degrees north offering and some of that. So that makes sense. Well, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I'm gonna have to work tomorrow. I don't have to go in, but I have to telework. But I still have to get up early, so I have to call it a night. But I appreciate y'all stopping by and going over this with me. And thanks again, Lee, for the juice and the salsa. And it's amazing how different some of these are comparatively to other distilleries with the Laphroaigs, both being great, unfortunately, both being tough to find. And hopefully that John Campbell or somebody can find a way to make that not so much of a problem, a first world problem. Well, Salanjava, and see you, Chad and Ryan, and everybody else that stuck with me the whole time. And I'll hopefully get an 8-minute video review up here before long. And if not, I'll definitely see you guys by the next review. Sit down, community, fun time, Thursday night. And thanks, Scotch for Dummies, for having a great show as usual. And I will be going up to see them with KB and Bob H and in New York in December. So that's going to be a fun time. I had to do some on-location shows and whatnot and just go crazy. See you later.